Awesome. There we go. Welcome everybody on TikTok. Good to see you. And looks like we're going live here on YouTube. Okay, and Mairead will be taking people's comments and questions about experiences that they're having, most of all. And I'll make that clear a couple different times. All right, how are you guys on TikTok? If you have any trouble seeing or hearing me, you can switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy. So it's the same address, but we tend to have some better luck with video quality here on YouTube. So feel free to do that. Just going to give this a second to let a few people tune in on YouTube. Oh, there it's popping up. Okay, now I can see you guys. Welcome everybody on YouTube. If you're having any trouble hearing or seeing me, you can switch over to TikTok at Ask Ivy, same address. So what we're doing here tonight, are you a psychic, a medium, or an empath? I will be telling you what intuitive abilities you have. You guys can go ahead and start posting now your curious experiences, any questions that you have. Strange things that have happened, leaving you wondering, am I a psychic, a medium, an empath? What is this that's going on with me? Or why do these things happen around me? What does it mean? How do I use it? You know, we really do need to be able to categorize where our intuitive intelligence lies. And this will give us some better direction and understanding of not only what abilities we have to use naturally, but also areas where we need to polish up, improve upon them, how they can sort of dominate and take over the other abilities. And if we know areas where we have strength with intuitive intelligence, then we also kind of know areas where we may be weaker. And we need to expose ourselves to exercises and education, you know, to increase in those other areas. All right, so Mairead, my beautiful producer, will be taking your questions and your comments throughout today's class. Again, we are here for, are you a psychic, a medium, or an empath? I know this is everybody's favorite. I only do this class /show/Q&A, whatever this is, right before a psychic mediumship course begins at the Ivy League Psychic Academy. So the psychic mediumship course starts September 12th. You guys can go ahead and register if you haven't already done so. There are 2 tiers to learning. So there is education to fit everyone's lifestyle. And we are running a raffle. So I know a lot of people are tight on the cash flow right now. We are choosing the raffle winner on September 11th. Now, this is a $2,100 value. You get the entire psychic mediumship course for free. So you get tickets at IvyRiveraPsychicMedium.com. That's above or below in the description box. I think it's $5. You get 1 ticket, and for like $20, you get 6 tickets or something like that. So get your raffle tickets now to win a completely free psychic mediumship course, and you can jump in on the fall semester starting September 12th. We are going to be doing a pop-up live Q&A tomorrow night here on TikTok and on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I'm going to take everybody's questions about the psychic mediumship course. So feel free to ask tonight if you have them. I can't guarantee they're going to get in, but I could also apply them to tomorrow. And for those of you who can tune in tomorrow, if you want to know more about the course before you go ahead and register, if it's something you've been on the fence about for a while, or if you got training somewhere else and you're like, God, I spent thousands of dollars and like a year at this training, and I still have gaps in my understanding. I don't really grasp where my abilities lie and how to decipher what a message is. And I really don't know how to deliver out a message to someone else. And I just feel stunted in my development. Everybody ends up here eventually, I guarantee. So internationally taught, unmatched, my PEC method, the psychology of energy communication method, psychic mediumship course starting September 12th. And this show tonight is to see if this is something you guys may fit into. Okay. So again, if you guys are tuning in now, tonight is, are you a psychic, a medium, or an empath? And what I want you to start doing is posting your questions and comments about any curious, strange, weird situations that you've had in life that lead you to believe that you might be one of these things. And I will tell you what category it fits in. I'll tell you what your abilities are. For those of you who want to do this more privately, you want to hear directly from me what abilities you have going on, you can go onto my website under Intuitive Ability Assessment, and you are basically purchasing an email where I get back to you in a voice clip about your abilities. So you can do that privately as well. A couple quick announcements while we let people tune in and post. Right, so my Symbology book is coming along, and if you want to get on the early bird wait list for that, you can see the pop-up here in the window on YouTube. You're going to email for your pre-order at revivrivera@yahoo.com. My Symbology book is going to include the 4+ hours of Symbology training I give my psychic mediumship students in the course, and much, much more. If you want to come and get a reading with me in person on Saturday, I will be in Fredonia, New York, in the downtown Barker Commons. Beautiful space for the Red, White, and Blues Fest. I believe we're talking red wine, white wine, and blues music. Okay, that's what I have gathered from this. But everyone's raving about it, that it's been an amazing time the past few years. So I made sure I got in on this one. I'll be doing readings there all day, pretty much. I believe I start at 11 a.m. and I think I go until like 8, 9 at night, something like that. If you want to pre-book your spot with me, you can go ahead and do that. You can book up to 3 spots at a time, or walk-ins are welcome. So I hope to see you for that. More information up on the website. Red, White, and Blues Fest on Saturday. I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I wanted to touch on here. Okay, those of you tuning in late, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, donations are appreciated, and comments help move this video along in the algorithm. So go ahead and post what strange occurrences you have going on, what abilities you think you might have going on, questions about your abilities. You know, I have this thing happen to me. I do this really weird thing. What is it? Am I psychic? Am I mediumistic? Am I an empath? What does this mean? I'm going to tell you today. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Mairead, if you want to pop up the first one. All right, Soul's Purpose Enlightened says, what abilities of mine are the most potent? I would say psychic ability. First thing, you know, so when psychic ability comes through with you, we're talking about clairvoyance, the third eye, the ability to accurately predict the past, the present, and the future without additional information. You could use this toward criminal investigations, missing persons, which is part of the psychic mediumship course curriculum. You could use this toward medical intuitive work. You may be able to find lost objects. So I would definitely stick with the psychic ability. For those of you who also feel that you are strong in your psychic ability, this will make you really, really skilled if you decide to use a tool like tarot, because you could just look at the cards and certain images from that card are going to pop out at you and tell you a story. It's exciting. All right, who's next? We have one from Hunter Santiago. Which ability will help me the most if I practice it? Well, I think for you, I'm going to say that you need the most practice in mediumship. And that's mostly because of your confidence level. You have a tendency to either rush past spirit, or when spirit's talking to you, you may have a tendency to come from a place of ego, which is control. And so you predetermine what the spirit might be saying, which is really more left brain logical. You know, it's really more about your opinion. You're jumping the gun. You're deciding for spirit what it is that maybe they should say versus what they're authentically giving you. And I think that when spirit talks to you, a lot of the time, they're giving you symbols, right? My symbology book is mainly about this. Symbols can be complicated because when we get a symbol from a spirit, that's not really a great message to deliver to somebody. You don't want to tell a stranger you feel you're supposed to deliver a message to that you see a cow eating an onion in a field full of sunflowers. You don't want to say something crazy like that. It's already awkward that you're delivering a message. But many spirits communicate using symbology, and you have to know that every single one of those symbols is a message in itself. You have to hook them together, okay? A cow represents prosperity at the highest level. An onion represents depth. And field full of sunflowers represents spiritual development and joy, So you put this all together and you're telling the person not about the cow and the onion and the sunflower. You're instead telling them, you hide the symbols and you're telling them that they have prosperity and abundance coming in and that they need to focus right now on faith and their spiritual development, and that the more in depth they get with that, the more prosperity they will have. It is about gaining confidence in the lost language for you. And if you do that with mediumship, I'm telling you, they will come to you like you have a light on, like you're a taxi saying, come deliver messages through me. So you really are like a magnet. You just need to polish it up a bit. Okay. Hope to see you at the psychic mediumship course. We have another one from a Katika on TikTok. Where do I need to focus my abilities? Which is my strongest? Okay. So these are some pretty general questions here. I want you guys to post your experiences. All right. So I have this thing going on. What is this? This thing happened to me. What does this mean? From Katika, where do you need to focus? What is the strongest? Well, those are two totally opposite things. So what I always tell my students is you need to focus here because this is your weak spot. You're asking both. Where should I focus and what's my strong spot? So I would say your strong spot is empathic ability. You're hitting the 3rd level. You're going to be hitting the 4th level of empathic ability within the next year. And so you're very good at understanding what other people are feeling. You're at the 3rd and the 4th levels. Check out my empathic awareness class up on the website. But at the 3rd and the 4th levels, you develop something called telepathy. So you're not only good at knowing what people are feeling emotionally, you're also good at knowing literally what they're thinking and hearing that as though it is your own inner dialogue. That can sometimes start with a little bit of paranoia. It could start when someone's like vying for your job or they're thinking negative thoughts about you. Maybe they're jealous of you. You're going to start picking up on those things first. Do not deny yourself and your gut instinct and tell yourself that you're being toxic or you're being negative or you're being judgmental or give everybody the benefit of the doubt. No way. Absolutely not. Especially as a 3rd and 4th level empath, your telepathy is accurate. It's going to maybe take a little time to be proven, but watch when you hear these things. Ultimately, that will get more in depth and you'll be able to hear other thoughts that they're having. Is it always appropriate? Not necessarily. So you're going to have to learn how to pull your energy back and set boundaries with things like that sometimes. But ultimately, that is your strong suit. It also means that you're an energy manipulator. So you could go out and do pretty amazing healings, anything ranging from energy work to psychic surgery to Reiki. Then if we were to look at a weaker spot for you, I would say that would be mediumship. You need to learn the language. You have a lot of gaps in understanding not only what spirits are talking to you, but what they're saying and whether or not they're from a high vibration or a low vibration. And discernment is key, people. We should never be communicating with spirits from the dark. And I guarantee most mediums out there don't know the difference. All right. So start with that. All right. We have another one here from Liz Latina 13. Hi, I would like to know more about myself. When I was a little girl, I would see spirits and I had a more open sense when it comes to feeling energy. So we tend to, when we are children, have our first peak between 2 and 3 years old with mediumship. Then between 5 and 6 years old, we have an increase with psychic, mediumistic, and empathic abilities. Then we have another major increase, probably the biggest one of our entire lives, between 14 and 16. See my free mini class here on YouTube on intuitive increases to learn more about all that. And when we're kids, when we're, under the age of 7 or 6, people don't really try to take that away from us. However, when we start going to school, we're told never to talk about our imaginary friends. We're told not to talk about spirits and ghosts. We're told that there's no such thing as monsters, or any kind of entities, and that we're basically making it up or we're lying. And there are just a bunch of looks and attitudes from the church, our parents, the educational system, the mental health system that shut us down and disconnect us from our intuitive intelligence. And that's what happens to us when we're children around the age of 6. And so the block gets wider and wider and the divide grows. We become more and more detached from our abilities. However, you're going to reach a point where you realize this never went away. I'm just learning to ignore it on a daily basis. But when you're honest about the information that's coming through, you're willing to acknowledge it. You can clearly see that it's still there. It's changed in some ways. But in the psychic mediumship course, I help you remove all those blocks. So we hope to see you there. That makes a lot of sense. Who else has had that experience where when you were a kid, you were on fire? You saw spirits. You saw full body apparitions. Spirit communicated with you audibly, right? So it wasn't just visual, it was audible as well. And you felt so connected to the universe, and you knew that there was a helpful force out there. It may have also been a scary time, spirits in your room at night. That may have been terrifying at, different stages. But, who else had this? And now that you're older, you wish you could get it back. What happened to it? I want to hear these stories. Okay, let's move on from Holly on TikTok. I am very sensitive to others' emotions when we are together, mainly anger and sadness. I also have vivid dreams that come true within 24 hours. Okay, so vivid dreams coming true, they are prophecy. Those are vision dreams. You will have prophecy in your dreams, and then it will start spilling over into the daytime. So it's sort of this tipping point I talk to my psychic mediumship students about a lot. We notice that when we're having a lot of prophecy in the dream state, that's sort of the end marking point. You are now leveling up and you need to get a handle on your abilities, because what you see at night is going to start happening while you're awake. And it may come as a trance-like state. It may come when you're drinking a little bit, you're smoking a little bit. It may come when you're relaxed, like meditating, dozing off, driving the car, walking, doing anything in a pattern or movement meditation. So all these visions will start happening during the day. It happens a lot in the bathroom. Okay, the native belief is that the mirrors, the porcelain, the water, the earth, these are all conductors. So you may have more visions when you're in the bathroom, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, doing whatever you do in there. And they're accurate. Okay, so that's pretty amazing. Feeling other people's emotions when you're together, that's empathic ability. And at any of the 4 levels, that's pretty basic. You'll feel what other people are feeling. Eventually, as you get to the higher levels, you don't even have to be near them. You can feel it through the phone, through the computer, through social media, from a distance, from a long distance, even without any connection whatsoever. All right, we have another one coming in here from a Carolina on TikTok. I can feel spirits, but I don't know how to understand what they want to say. Where do I start? You start with my psychic mediumship course, because it's going to teach you the lost language of psychic ability, mediumistic ability, and empathic ability. When we look at the mediumship, we're talking about angels, guides, deceased loved ones, or we would just say the deceased, animals, and other entities. If you understand each one of their languages, and you understand how you receive information, then we can create a pairing of the two, which will allow you to communicate with any spirit from the light that works in the universe. But it's not, the course is 2 semesters long. It's 28 weeks. We have to break down each thing individually. And you need to start by understanding the difference between mediumship, actual mediumship, and your psychic ability, because those two can look very, very similar. So I would start there. All right, we have another one coming in from a Vanessa. I get the chills at certain times, especially when something is emotional. What does that mean? Well, it can mean that you just received some divine information. To me, it usually just means truth, that there is something powerful and something true is being said or is being felt or is being downloaded. Whenever I get the chills, I know that whatever's being discussed or thought of is something that is a guaranteed destiny charted thing or situation that's going to happen. Okay. We have another one from Angela on TikTok. I had a feeling a friend's infant was going to pass away before it happened. What does that mean about me? So you have something called messenger of death syndrome. There's a small portion of psychics that have it. A lot of my students have it. It is a bit of a blessing and a curse. It can feel very heavy and it can instigate feelings of survivor's guilt. And if you don't keep it in check, it can lead to things like extreme religiosity and even depressive behaviors. So we need to be mindful that when we see, due to our messenger of death syndrome, a tragic accident, an illness, someone passing away, we have to understand that we saw it because of our ability. It does not necessarily mean that we are capable of preventing it. Now, in the event that we are not capable of preventing it from happening, we should not be saying anything to anybody, and we need to make peace with it. That's the point of knowing, is so that we can make peace with it. Maybe we can help others around us to make peace with it. We can get prepared for the event. At other times, it is preventable. I always say that death is highly negotiable. So if we look at some ancient forms of Vedic astrology, I've gotten behind the scenes with some very genius astrologers in the past. And I know that some of them see these death points. Well, I do life contract readings. I also see death points. That tells me death is highly negotiable. Not at the end point. Eventually, we're all going to kick it. But for the most part, we can manipulate when we do it. And as a messenger of death, you're in a unique position to see when someone may potentially die, and you may be able to let them know that they can negotiate that, or let family members know. But you need to learn the ethical code of conduct and how to handle this, because we never just blurt things like that out. So hope to see you for the psychic mediumship course. What you have is normal for a small portion of us psychics, and I understand how uncomfortable that can be. From Carito on TikTok, I feel like I have that. Knowing when someone is going to die, who am I supposed to tell? Well, I can't cover that here. We cover that, and it takes 2 hours for me to train you in it's called Do and Do Not Day in the psychic mediumship course. And there's a lot of law and ethical code of conduct and learning what not to say, and then how to say it when there is something like this that needs to be delivered. In a nutshell, I would say that what you need to learn to do is to make sure your accuracy rate is on point, because nobody should ever be opening their mouth about something if you are not going to nail it with 100% accuracy. Meaning timeline, detail on how it's going to happen, detail on how it can be avoided, delivering the healing aspect of that message. It all needs to be there. It needs to be developed and polished before it's ever presented to anyone. But first and foremost, you need to make sure that it's avoidable. So again, like I was telling the other girl, say, a lot of these things we see and they're not preventable. So then we say, well, why do we see them? Well, why not? We see a lot of things in life that we don't necessarily want to see. It doesn't make them useless. Learn from it, alchemize it, figure out how you could use it to be more accurate for the people that do have a preventable situation. It's all useful to you as the messenger of death. But the first thing you need to figure out is, whether it is destined or it is free will future. All right. A little tricky, that particular ability. Kapali says, I had a dream years ago of going into the dragon realm. And they gave me a warning of what was going to happen in my life. They also said they will teach and guide me. When will this come? Well, I mean, that sounds a bit more subconscious. You know, when we talk about dreams, we talk about prophecy, which is vision. We talk about subconscious dreaming, which is self-created, wish fulfillment, problem solving. And then we talk about visit dreams, which are spirits and, you know, entities from the universe coming and spending time with us, doing tasks together and things like this. To me, this sounds like a subconscious dream. It sounds like something that you created in order to feel more connected to your higher mind. So I would say maybe you're the dragon. I would say maybe you're the one. That's your inner fire, you know, coming through, your inner leadership, your inner connectivity to the universe, coming through and telling you it's time to get connected. Waiting on a spirit to come is sort of like waiting on a lover on a white horse to come. You know, it doesn't work that way. We are the spirit. Our higher mind is it. It is us all the time, connected to the universe, God, you know, the bigger picture. There is no waiting on anybody to come. Get started, get motivated, get moving, get educated. Hope to see you at the Psychic Mediumship course. All right, we have another one coming through here from a Tammy Dudek. My dreams can be extremely vivid or real. Most of the time, I think it's real. Someone looks at me crazy when I ask them or talk about something, and they reply that that thing never happened. I say, oh, it must have been a dream. Okay. So what Tammy's talking about here is being in a dream state that is so vivid and detailed that it sticks with you, kind of like a deja vu, like you are frozen in time. Like when you relive it or you think about it, have a flashback to it, it's almost like it's playing out in real time instead of in a dream state. And that when she thinks it's actual reality, people think she's crazy because that thing never happened. I think that the more evolved we get, the more tendency we have for that to happen. I think that it's also a good time for you to learn to differentiate between psychic, mediumistic, and empathic abilities. I would also check out the dreams class up on the website where I break down the 3 different kinds of dreams. And I talk a lot there about astral travel. I talk a lot about lucid dreaming techniques. You need to get more familiar with your dreams and what kind of dream it is. And then you need to understand your intuitive intelligence to better differentiate, you know, what's what, keeping everything categorized. And this way, when you're dealing with other people, you seem more in touch with reality and less confused. And right now you're meshing it all together. Okay. And a lot of people do that. A lot of readers do that. A lot of healers do that, but we can't keep things meshed together forever, or else we just really don't understand what's going on and we can't have depth. Okay. All right. Do we have another one or are we at time? Okay, perfect. So you guys, this was a lot of fun. I want to encourage you guys, if you want to find out what intuitive abilities you have, go onto my website. You can book an intuitive ability assessment. I send you back a voice clip for that. Tomorrow, I will be back here on TikTok and YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern, talking about the Psychic Mediumship course Q&A, taking any questions you guys have about that, because registration is now. Psychic Mediumship course starts September 12th. Get your raffle tickets now, a $2,100 value if you want to win the class. That's up on the website, IvyRiveraPsychicMedium.com. And I think that's just, also, if you guys want to apply to be in the scholarship program for the course, you can go to revivrivera@yahoo.com, my email, and you could say, I'm interested in applying to be a scholarship student, and we'll send you an application for that. Okay, if you guys need to book a reading or an event, a party with me, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow night at 9. Thank you, Mairead. Thanks, everybody.